And we're back, and or just beginning, depending on what we decided to keep.
Back from the pie zone.
Hey. Oh, so we're not going to do it now?
I'm sorry. Womp, womp, womp. This pie fucking rules.
I'm telling you, key lime meringue pie is the way to go.
So good.
Welcome to Dread and Breakfast, the breakfast edition.
Bwah, 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 bwah.
I was waiting for that.
We've started off our festivities this evening with the beginning of one of many dégustation de key lime. Key lime tastings, because as you will recall, the Key Club celebrates good events with key lime pie.
I love that the Key Club is just so fucking dumb.
That's my favorite thing about it.
It's so stupid. But if you don't know what we're talking about, and you maybe please go back and re-listen to our latest story, Y2 Spillman. And if you haven't listened to any of the Spillman, go do that first, because it'll hit way harder.
You're very lost, aren't you?
There's a lot of buy-in you had to do to get to this point without...
Honestly, dear listener, I love your gumption. Keep going. You'll probably figure it out.
The fact that you made it this far is commendable, and also commendable. Good job, Christy.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yay!
We're still eating, guys.
Yeah,
so,
can we pause?
I don't
for
know.
Yeah,
1
this was a
second?
bad
Okay,
idea.
great.
Yeah, I don't think this
This
was
is a terrible
great.
idea.
We're going to take a pie break, and we'll be right back.
I've got so many notes to reference this evening. I'm pulling out the laptop.
I would love please give us a little peek behind the curtain of what it was like to DM this story, because we in our real human lives have been recording it for so long.
5 months.
5 months.
Is this the longest it's taken us to record a Dread story?
Pretty close? I think Spectrophobia was around that length.
Wow. Yeah. This this story, I really didn't start writing it until after Diner Dread was done.
Ooh.
Whereas with Diner Dread, I had the idea for the world like a very long time prior. This one, I was not even thinking about running something, and I was like, I don't really think I have a story or like an idea of what I would even want to explore. And then I was like, what if a cult? And we went from there.
Was that like your first image of like, I want Spillman to have a cult?
When we tend to plan the stories that we want to tell, we think a lot about like, what is the goal of this story? Like, what lore thing does this story need to reveal to the listener? Or even what lore thing are we interested in exploring? And so for this one, I knew that I wanted to kind of take a look back towards, where did Eloise come from? Who was here before Spillman? And kind of get a glimpse into that. From a like practical DMing perspective, I wanted to challenge myself to prepare not as little as possible, but like way less than Broken Yoke, and leave a lot more of it to be open world. And so even the fact that we did like a session 0 where we were all just kind of getting comfy in our characters, like there was so much about this world that I did not know and was like, just let's leave it up to like the table to collaboratively come up with. And I think we had a lot of fun with that.
It was pretty good. Key Club was great.
Key Club, oh my gosh. That was something that you guys came up with entirely. I had no hand in
That
the Key
was
Club.
Jacob, I believe, in
think
like an
so.
off-mic character creation.
This all sounds right. I believe you.
I mean, it was like 5,000 months ago.
Yeah, we always do this bit where it's like, yeah, Jacob remembers, but genuinely it was a long
It was so
time
long
ago.
ago.
Almost
Because-
half a year.
Because that was even, we built that stuff in the summer and then didn't start recording until end of September.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's been a very long time.
Yeah, there was a certain point when we were like actively in between recording sessions where Chet had been kidnapped for the characters for like 10 hours. For us as people, it was like 3 months. We're like,
Yeah.
can we just fucking get this guy back? Like, where is he?
In the
You
woods.
just find this nerd.
But so tell me a little bit more about like your planning process with it being so much more like hands off. Like, did you still do like research? Where did you find inspiration?
Oh, baby, did I do research? Do you remember who you're speaking to?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I did quite a bit of research. Honestly, about different cults.
Yes.
Namely the Heaven's Gate cult. They believed that they should all live destitute and leave behind their possessions to go recruit others. They believed in a greater power and a greater form that they would evolve to, that they would shed their human mammalian nature, which includes like all ties to family, responsibilities, possessions, addictions, habits, self-concerns. The body is just a vehicle for consciousness. And then like some space stuff kind of got involved in it too. And there was like talks about like the Hale-Bopp comet. And
yeah.
what's interesting is that like a lot of cults, like there'd be an initial belief and like an initial person that they'd follow, and that person would then die. And so then people would be like, well, I guess we just shift our beliefs slightly because that person wasn't the like messiah figure we wanted them to be.
Your messiah is waiting in another castle.
Sorry.
But yeah, and like reading about, there's also a cult that's active along the Appalachian Trail.
Interesting.
Like presently?
Yeah, presently.
Oh,
and so
cool.
like they will like interact with people that are like hiking the trail and be like, do you want some soup and a place to stay?
Oh
Like
my
they'll offer like
God.
trail magic, but then be like, believe our things.
I have heard about this
Yeah.
actually.
Do they let people leave if you don't believe their things?
They do. Yes,
okay,
they
that's
do.
fine.
But
like some people.
I was given very clear instructions.
You were.
yes, you were.
I'm excited to get to what those were specifically.
That was about it. They can't leave.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay. Fair. Well, we got it.
Uh-oh.
Guessed in one.
But yeah, so I did a lot of research about cults because I knew I always wanted there to be like this separatist group that knew about Eloise's original community. It was interesting though because like for a while I was writing it like, oh, this group of high school kids are going to go on an adventure in the woods. They'll find evidence of this cult and then eventually find the cult. But I remember very distinctly being like, but what's the scary thing? Like, is there something in the woods? Like, what's the horror piece of it rather than just the mystery? And then I was like, oh, what if the cult is the scary thing?
It's a good place your brain went. It's a good space.
So then that kind of played into planning for different tower dynamics once we got to the cult. Like anytime anyone was doing something that was like having to resist the influence of the cult, they'd have to pull.
That's what it was.
Anytime you were doing something that was like against the common trust building, you'd have to pull. And so then if you like refused to pull, you'd like, which you guys really didn't do very much. There might have only been like once or twice that it happened.
I think it was me.
And I like had written a few narratives for like subtle shifts in perspective that be like, you know what, maybe that does make a little sense to you
Oh,
now.
that's so spooky. I don't
Oh,
like
that's
that.
fun.
The other thing that I thought a lot about in prep was the mechanics of the memory transfer.
Yes.
And how that all works together, because there's a lot of lore implications
Yeah.
for the practicalities of a spider bites you. What does that mean? How does the venom work? But also like when we're sharing memories, what memories are being shared, like that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
And it, at least to me, it had a lot of implications for like consent versus like puppeting and
Yes.
like community versus like control
100%.
like situation. And it was interesting. So in the common trust circle, everyone shares memories, etc. And then Kevin can do it with Tammy outside of the trust circle.
Yes.
Does that mean that like anyone in Spillman can just be like, hello, friend, here's a spider. Trust me.
I mean, so the whole thing with the cult and the common trust piece is that these people have spent so much time together. They are intentionally living in community together to build that trust within each other. I didn't think super long and hard in the moment when Kevin and Tammy did the trust circle activity, other than they knew each other from high school. So like there's history there. It's not like they've just met recently. Like ostensibly these are people that have known each other like long ago. Like Kevin knew her enough to remember, wait, that's not Tabitha, that's Tammy. So I think pulling from that, it would allow a bit of that transfer. How many memories would be shared? How do you know if they are being remembered properly? Those are still big questions. If you're doing this sort of, I don't want to call it a ritual because we do have a ritual.
Yeah,
Ceremony.
The ceremony, yes. So like if you're doing this ceremony outside of the context of deep intentional community and trust, you know, things get a little wibbly wobbly, fringy around the edges kind of thing.
One other clarifying question that I've been wondering about.
Yeah.
Tammy becoming Tabitha.
Yes.
Was that like magic bullshit, or is that just straight cult manipulation?
That's just straight cult manipulation.
That's almost scarier to me.
Right. So that's the other piece of this is that we have all this like magic, surreal, occult stuff happening, but also like cults are scary and people have influence over each other. And sometimes like cult shit just gets weird. I kind of wanted to play with that, what's the intersection of those two? And then also, what does it mean when the cult is right about some of the things that they believe, but just the practice of how they're going about sharing that has been influenced and corrupted a bit by human nature.
Yeah. Creepy.
I feel like a past version of myself in my youth would have been prime cult target.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was very gullible. Maybe dodge some cult abductions in my past.
It's always good to not fall into a cult.
Speaking of falling into, it felt like there was a lot of like falling into like discovery, like falling into story beats, like how much of the like narrative structure did you have planned? Because there was at one point, it might have been when Meredith followed Caleb and Chet, but you had made a comment like, oh, we're so far off where I thought we would be.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I wanted that to happen. It was like so much adrenaline in the moment to be like, open window, throw out all notes. But I wanted the whole writing process to be more reactive rather than prescriptive. It did lead to a bonkers last episode where we went into that last
Holy
session
shit.
and I legitimately had no idea how to prepare for it because I had no clue how, I didn't know how we were going to land the story. So much had happened and you all seemed to be noodling around with like thoughts about what your characters were thinking about the situation, plans of what you might do, that I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to let them enact whatever plans they have and trust myself and trust our collaborative nature. So I just kind of focused more on understanding where is every single character's head at in the moment so that no matter what happened or who we came across or what characters came into play, I was able to just pick them up and play them. And it did lead to a bit of in the moment, like, hold on, this feels bad. Let's go back and redo a couple choices. But that's also the nice thing about collaborating with your good friends is that it's like, yeah, okay, yep, we're going to go back. Like we all kind of feel it. We all agree. We know what we're going for, at least tone wise. And does this feel fun for us to play through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also so interesting to have such a different party dynamic at the end because we had like Fob and I who were like high school friends. We're on the same page. We're going to get Chet. We're going to get out. And then we have Bernie over here who's just totally opposite team.
Yeah. And just like the way I would describe Bernie is like the kindest menacing.
Yes.
Like just weaponized passive aggressiveness or something.
Thank you. I've had a lot of practice.
Oh no.
But also it led to really interesting tower dynamics, right? Because every pull was against like the other like player, right?
Yeah.
But then as we're both trying to do different things, the tower's getting worse for both sides. So it was a very interesting and delicious little nuance to the game that I don't think we've touched on before.
I had a lot of fun.
I was
You
shitting
seemed
myself.
like you were having a lot of
It
fun.
seemed like, yeah.
Yeah, Bernie went so hard in the paint.
You really did.
As instructed.
Well, and the funny thing is, I think in my head, like I still had like and they get away and it's all happily ever after. And seeing you go so hard while I was DMing, I was like, oh, I have to be okay with the fact that they might not win.
Did you enjoy playing? You enjoyed playing Bernie?
Bernie was great. He was a lot of fun.
Is Bernie your favorite character you've played so far in Dread and Breakfast?
Maybe. I don't know. He feels
Ooh.
like half a character because he kind of,
Yeah.
when I made him, I was expecting to kind of be as much puppet as character.
Mhm.
So like I put medium thought into him. I didn't think as much about it as I maybe would have.
But
That's
there
fair.
were moments when you would riff off shit that was
Yeah.
so wild.
Yes.
And so much, like, it added so much depth to the cult. Like,
So
well,
fun.
yeah, we used to like dogs, and then
Then a
somebody
different
had
person was wearing the hat, and then we were a cat cult
They
for
were
a
wearing
minute.
red for a while.
Oh
it
man,
was
it was just so
so-
fun and dandy.
Yeah, that was all very fun.
I really did enjoy, like, I also thought I was going to have to feed you more like lines in the moment. And there were like a few moments here and there where I fed you like specific things as we were playing. But there was quite a lot of time where you three just were chatting and I sat back and just listened to what was going on. And you would bring things up like in the parlance of Bernie, like that I would have to like sit there and try and remain as stone-faced as possible because you would drop things in that I was like, yes, sing my angel. Like,
Christine,
yes.
what was the planned outcome or like the scene that you had in mind rather than Meredith going to confront Chet at the head house?
Yes. So, I mean, all of these rewrites, like, it actually goes back a little further. So when Chet is like initially kind of like looking into the cult, I was not expecting Caleb to be so interested in it. So the fact that the two of you had interest in it, I was like, oh, okay, now there's another player here to contend with. It brought the cults more into the friend group as opposed to initially in my head, Chet would be removing himself more to pursue this cult. He would be getting cagey about it. There'd be a lot of like off-screen discovery about it. I had an entirely additional library scene with Kevin where like Kevin and Chet would interact and he'd get like real cagey about it and like leave and get kind of like upset.
Defensive.
Yeah, and defensive. And then it was not going to be revealed until you guys arrived at school the next day after the basketball game that Chet had gone missing. But then Meredith started following, and Caleb too.
Oops.
And so I was like, well, I guess we're going to see him being taken away or going away. And so like the whole thing with like going through the field, seeing the maroon car with no license plate,
Yeah.
all the stuff about Theodore recognizing the hairpin that you had, like all of that was jazz.
Oh my God. I was legitimately so like scared.
Yeah. It's fun playing a kid because like you know
Yes.
how to do it, and like it was also fun because like grown-ups can be scary now, and it's like
Yes.
they don't even have to be like okay, cult members kind of menacing, but like just having an quote-unquote authority figure like that was fun. That was good times.
Yeah. And like the difference of like being grounded is as good as dying, I guess, because
Yeah.
you can't do anything.
Oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
implications of Caleb being removed from the game when he did, like the scene of you seeing Chet being taken away, like really, really good. But now I'm like, well, shit, she's afraid of Theodore and
Yeah.
Cindy. Like, how am I going to get any of these people to like interact with the cult, assuming that like Caleb would know all the information, and so like everyone would go into it being like, we know who these fuckers are, we know what they believe, like all
Yeah.
this stuff, and then you got removed at the perfect time.
Oh.
I would say least perfect time.
Yeah, it was
actually.
not good
I
for
was-
me.
It was pretty bad for us. Pretty inconvenient, Caleb's mom.
Yeah.
But so that actually worked really well for me then to be like, oh, okay, they don't know anything, so the curiosity aspect is back. And so I can start to bring them into it.
Okay, that's really interesting. I wasn't curious about the cult at all. I just wanted my friend back.
I know.
That's fair. It's like, what? No, these people are like low-key kidnappers. Let's not care about their thoughts and beliefs.
But I like that we got to see the different flavors of that.
Yeah,
Too.
Yes. It kept me on my toes that Kevin was so mentally resistant to the cult.
that's good. I guess. I don't know.
The other big rewrite, which I don't know if this was a rewrite necessarily, but like the
Edit?
random encounters in the woods,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the order at which those came up just was like not at all how I would have ordered it.
Fascinating.
Like, if I hadn't made it a random encounter interaction.
Why did you make it a random encounter?
I don't,
Okay.
I was going to ask
for
the same
chaos,
thing.
for the chaos of
That-
it. I don't
that's
know.
fair.
I liked the idea of bringing in like more TTRPG elements to it, of leaving a little bit up to chance. You know, it kind of also lends itself a bit more to the like open world, like what's gonna happen, I don't know. And then you guys just like solved every puzzle.
Oops.
Well, you did give us the very easy you can pull to have something from a house of rich people.
Yeah. That, and the thing is though that like there's no wrong way to solve it.
No.
And there's no one right way that you have to fight. Like,
Yeah.
like that would be really poor planning on my part if I'm like, there is only one way to solve this.
Yes, that's bad DMing.
like
100%.
yeah. So yeah, okay, maybe you sidestepped some things and didn't have my terrifying frozen river interlude. But
Was that what you were planning on that?
yes,
That would
You
have
wanted us to walk across walk through a
yeah,
river?
I thought you guys were gonna try and like get through the river, and then I was gonna have someone pull, and if they refuse, they were gonna get like, kind of swept away by the current, and then it'd be all dramatic and
and get hypothermia, and then we would die.
yeah. And
Yeah,
instead
absolutely,
you were
fuck
like,
that,
snip,
no.
snip, here we go,
It's like, oh, Christine, I know what I'm doing with my pull.
which is smart.
It worked out.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out for Kevin. It did not work out for literally all of my friends.
Well, I mean, the NPCs are fine.
Speaking of friends,
Speaking of friends,
Clap, 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 clap.
I really loved that we got to see young versions of the future Maris Spillman.
that was
Yeah.
cool.
Olivia. It was very
Mhm.
sweet.
That was a good time.
well, you pitched that Olivia exists, I think.
I sure
Existed.
did. Because I did the math and I'm like, what characters could we revisit? Because we've gone back and then we've gone back and now we're going forward. I'm like, oh, my stupid, dumb mortician like NPC would be
Mhm.
alive. Oh, wait, what if she's best friends with Olivia Oakley? And
I
it's-
love it. I love it so much. I don't know if this actually like came out very much either, but like at the same time, you also did a bunch of math about like the McGupple family.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
Mrs. McGupple is an English
Yes,
teacher.
On my
Yeah.
character sheet, I went so down the rabbit hole. Arthur would have been like an infant. Mrs. McGupple
Is
would
out on leave?
yes, she's on maternity leave
Mhm.
and she's the English teacher because I thought it was funny. And then we had fucking Sandra, who
was
I
funny.
did not mathematically calculate because I thought
How
she
could
would
you?
be
exists
irrelevant.
beyond mathematics.
Just the reveal I was not expecting. It was so funny.
I was like, well, I have a whole school to work with here. Oh boy, there are a lot of people in a school.
What if
Wait a minute. So my note is literally Sandra is the school secretary, librarian, janitor, etc. Basically, whenever there's a random school employee, it's Sandra.
Oh my god. I wish we had
Shit.
seen janitorial Sandra.
God damn.
That would have been amazing.
Missed opportunities.
Sandra.
And also, what a beautiful citizen doing her part to
Yeah.
volunteer at the anonymous.
Oh,
Fine.
Oh, yeah.
And then immediately it's like, please state your name.
Well, we promise we're not going to give it. That's just for the record. Wait,
Yeah.
hang on.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that was a moment where my brain was not on.
It's the record that we don't look at, so don't worry about it.
I think we all like retroactively realized it way later and we're like,
We're
no,
like,
that's
wait a
him.
mi-
That's staying.
Wait a minute.
But then we were just like, that's Spillman, baby.
Spillman, baby.
That's just,
Spillman shit.
that's how they be.
But Sandra was a great NPC. Olivia was really fun. I
Mhm.
really had a
Mhm.
soft spot for Chet because he felt very real in terms of like we were all about to graduate and what do those friendships look like and trying to hold on in different paths, but in a very menacing, like sinister undertone.
Mm-hmm.
And Cindy and Theodore legitimately gave me nightmares. Like after that one session where like Meredith is like trying to talk to them.
You,
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
You did text me that you had a nightmare.
I did. It sucked.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It was good. Well, good.
Art.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cindy and Theodore, I based them on an article that I found about someone who had been on the Appalachian Trail and like come into contact with this cult and like stayed with them, and like the ways that they described the people making intense eye contact, asking very earnestly about things, asking how long people were going to stay with them.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
and then I wanted to make them feel very connected to each other
Yes.
as like a sign of this deep trust that they had with each other, that
Yeah.
these people have been living together, doing everything together, caring for each other in this like very deep community together.
Oh yeah, you nailed that 100%. I thought they had like some telepathy going on at one point, or like, is Theodore Cindy's son? Like, what's going on? But it was
I thought
just,
there was
yeah.
some kind of like either family or like they fucking.
It's a cult. They probably are.
Honestly though.
I mean, that's good though. Like that shows like there's a more intense connection there, and that's what
Yeah.
I was going for.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't do labels in this cult.
Oh,
we just
of
do
course.
connection.
Oh boy.
But other than NPCs, would we like to talk about our characters? But first,
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little parched.
Parched, you say?
Could I interest all of you in key lime pie, soda pop?
Oh.
And before
shit.
we crack this bad bitch open, I would love to describe the label to you.
Oh my gosh.
Have you looked at this?
What is happening?
So I retrieved this many moons ago from what it's like a local like bulk candy store, and they have like an ice cream soda shop.
Why does it have sediment at the bottom?
It's the pie crust.
So in the top left of our soda label, we have a woman who looks like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello.
With the brand named Melba's Fixins. Key lime pie soda, some nice doily accents, and a really shitty looking pie slice, frankly, if I'm being honest.
Just a bad photo, I think.
And in, I believe it's Lucida calligraphy font at the bottom, it just says, "Y'all get your fixins." I have no idea if this is going to be good or terrible. So,
Pretty
do
terrifying.
they serve this soda at Leeches and Cream?
oh, they probably do.
Cool.
They do now.
Melba, we'll see you soon.
All right, who would like to try
I
some?
mean, we must. Is this going to be like a cream soda with lime?
Probably.
I don't know. How much do you want, Kirsty?
That's good.
It's one, not even an
One
ounce.
glug.
How many glugs, Jacob?
2 glugs. I'll be risky.
What does this smell?
That's so many more than 2 glugs,
It didn't glug the
Marissa.
second time. Fob?
Yeah, please.
This smells like what I clean my bathroom with.
Great.
It does smell like toilet bowl cleaner.
You probably
No.
can.
Really? Oh, God. Oh, no.
So,
That's
dear listener,
terrible.
something I've learned about beverages that come in a glass like necked bottle, they're not usually made to be smelled, and that's the reason for the bottle. Is
Oh, like
Oh.
kombucha.
like some beers taste really bad if you can smell them.
Well, the beers can also get skunked, though.
Maybe key lime soda can too.
Let's
find
find out.
3, 2, 1.
Eggs.
Click.
Eggs.
Oh, that's not good.
I don't mind it.
I don't like
It's
that
like a
at
cream
all.
soda and lime is there.
It's
Yeah.
a cream soda but lime.
Just
Sub
don't
out
smell
the,
it.
Yeah, sub out the orange for green.
It tastes like chemicals.
well, everything is chemicals.
Marissa.
But
Marissa,
bad.
what did you expect? a key
you know?
lime?
No, probably what's happening is that you have toilet cleaner in your head.
I do. I really
Yeah.
do.
Sorry.
Well,
Well, that was weird.
I'm still thirsty, but let's talk about our character.
Oh, there's so much soda left.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
want. I'm
Why
so
are we
good.
doing the key lime bit again?
Because the
Key Club.
Oh yes. Okay. Sorry, I lost the plot.
DM's back, y'all.
I'm back. Listen, I'm so relieved that we're done with this story.
You know who made the most Key Club jokes? It was Kevin. Let's talk about
Oh,
Kevin.
I did. I really liked
Yes.
those. That was fun. That was a good time.
Which ended up being a really fun running bit. We
Yeah.
in our real human space, because there was like so much like time between recordings,
Yeah.
did fully forget about the Key Club until someone brought it up, and then we thought it was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah. I'm actually really proud of the one that I did at probably the most inappropriate moment, which is when Chet had just gone missing
Oh
and we
my
were trying to
God.
break a door.
Yes. But talk to me about Kevin. What was your like inspiration? Because I feel like you balanced like edgelord with like some really like heartwarming and heartbreaking like depth.
Oh, I tried to. Inspiration for Kevin. I missed out on being able to play a lot of D&D and stuff like growing up, just by like I didn't know anyone who played. So I pretty much, I don't know, I always just take something that is me and then just like either blow it out or change it in some way. And I think it was that for Kevin. That was a lot of fun.
I love how from the jump you were like, Kevin, Lord of Darkness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a bit that I fully stole from someone whose name I don't remember, and I think I played just like one D&D game, like one pickup game with this guy, and his character was Kevin, Lord of Darkness, and I'm like, that's a really funny. That's a bit that is just a voice, and I can do that. And also,
so good.
yeah, and also I like I lost it at some point, but that's fine because I was no longer a Lord of Darkness. I was just like a straight man who's like, I can't, like, everyone else is falling for this whimsical horse shit. I'm not going to.
When Kevin was writing in his D&D notebook all the time,
Oh yeah.
was it just D&D notes or were there secret?
I think it was just D&D notes. In my mind, Kevin would have different notebooks for different things. So if there were other notebooks on his person, maybe those could be for other secrets, but I think the D&D notebook is the D&D notebook.
But does he have a notebook of love poems for Olivia?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Talk to me more about like Kevin's relationship with like Olivia, and then especially at the end with Chet. Like I feel like Kevin came away from the story somehow a little more jaded than when he entered it.
Yeah, I think Kevin, I don't know if it's a negative character arc, but I think Kevin went into this with 4 friends and ended with 2, maybe 3. I don't think Kevin thinks of Chet as a friend anymore. I think seeing Chet leave Meredith, the person who was like willing to put her life on the line for him, like she fell in the snow and he's just like that, I don't think that's something that Kevin would forgive. I don't think it's as bad for Olivia, but I think it's still a like, oh, okay, you came back, but like you still left. And I think Kevin definitely has abandonment issues. So it's like, if he's going to be worried about somebody leaving, that's not really somebody he wants to spend a lot of time with.
Mm-hmm. Kevin seemed very immune to the cult, and even just like the idea that the cult would have influence over people, which was really interesting to me.
Say more about that.
Well, so like you had shared with me before the final session that like sitting around and sharing memories, like, okay, cool, but like, why are people building a whole community on this?
Oh.
And I didn't say this to you because I was like kind of waiting to see if maybe that would come out in the session, which it didn't. We didn't really like have a moment,
No.
but I was fully prepared to have Olivia be like, Kevin, we sit around and tell stories all the time, and that's what made our friend group. Like, and so there was like a whole meta narrative there about like RPGs in general and like storytelling and stuff.
That's
so,
fair.
So it was interesting to me that Kevin was like, I don't understand the influence. But I think also Kevin is a very like thinking, kind of judging rather than like feeling and sensing character, like pulling from the Myers-Briggs.
I haven't Briggsed him out, but like I think Kevin would be, I think what Kevin's whole problem with the cult is like, you've unlocked magic. Like, if you know this and you have this knowledge, but your path of dissemination is a weird cringe poster online, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing?
Interesting. This is really fascinating. In my head, the way that the cult formed, there is justification for why they are so secretive. And it makes sense that Kevin wouldn't know that, so that's how he feels about it.
Yeah, it just seems like a bunch of bull. Like, well, clearly there's nothing special about us because you just let us 3 chuckle fucks in on your like special little sharing circle. Like, we didn't go through the vetting process that Chet did.
Mm.
So if any chuckle fuck can just walk in here, get a spider bite, and ooh memories.
Well, you had Chet vetting for you.
And the hairpin.
It didn't seem
And
like
the
it
hairpins,
didn't seem
yeah.
like we had Chet vetting for us. Like, at least Kevin's relationship with Chet felt very antagonistic by that point.
Well, I mean, maybe depending on some of the things that Kevin said to him, but like when they initially see him in the cult, he's like with Cindy and Theodore, he's like, these are my friends. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that
Oh.
you're here. And this didn't come out a ton, but like you guys have the real hairpin and then the fake crystals as well. So like
Okay.
there is a sense of like, okay, these kids actually know what's up and they're in with Chet and like that sort of thing.
Got you. But yeah, that was Kevin. Kevin was good fun times. Kevin
was fun.
I don't think he's my favorite character that I've played on the show, but he's definitely one of them.
Where do you see him headed now?
Probably college, I think. I think he buys into that. And then I know where I think he ends up, but I think I'll save that. But Marissa, tell me, I would love to know more about Maribeth. Oh wait, no, I'm so sorry. Meredith.
Oh my god. She was so hard to play. Like, I had a really hard time figuring out who she was because I started with a one-off bit that I thought was funny to make Jacob laugh when he went to the morgue.
Jacob just shrugged.
And then, you know, trying to walk back, okay, how did she get from teenager, what did that look like,
Yeah.
to mortician? So I started thinking about like, okay, like what would prompt an interest in like mortuary sciences? Like clearly she has a pretty good relationship with death. Okay, what if she lost someone close to her? So that led to her being inspired by the song Dead Mom from the Beetlejuice musical.
Excellent.
And also largely inspired by my dear friend Sam. Hi, Sam. I don't know if you listen, but you're great.
Sam.
Sam is a bit of a cryptid.
Oh my gosh. Yes, she is.
And she does have a collection of bones that she has foraged from the woods. I believe she has a deer jaw.
Sick.
I'm trying to think of the best Sam story. Would you like to hear about the time she made me a haunted doll? The time she accidentally summoned a demon into our dorm
That
room? The demon?
It's gotta be.
Once upon a time.
I mean, I want to know about the doll.
I'm sure Sam's haunted doll, well, dolls plural, will make it onto the show eventually.
Oh.
But for now, the demon summoning. It was our sophomore year of college. We were moving into our dorm room. The window was open. Our screen was shitty, so a fly got in. Sam or somebody like hits it and kills it with a notebook, and there's a dead fly in the ground. I go about my life for 20 minutes. I hear a chuckle from the next room, and Sam says, "Hey, come here, come look at this." And instead of unpacking, as a bit, she drew a fake little pentagram on a paper towel and put the dead fly in the middle of it.
Oh,
and was
good.
like, haha, isn't this funny? And then the fly moved and flew away out the window. And Sam said, "Oh no, I didn't think that would work." And then for the rest of the year, our dorm room was haunted and doors would fly around. We tried to steal holy water. It didn't work. But yeah, so that type of energy of just unhinged chaos incarnate was Meredith.
Meredith was a delight to play with.
Thank
Like
you.
she was a delight to
So
play along.
hard.
It was so fun.
It was fun to play an NPC who was her best friend and who was also like chipper, like
The polar, it's the meme of like the one like goth girl and then the one in like bright rainbow, hair.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
100%. But I also liked how, you know, that drew some parallels to present day with like all the Olivia stuff we saw in Witch in the Woods. And I think Christine, you pointed this out, like, and I didn't even plan this, but like in Witch in the Woods, she's making like a salt circle around the hospital, and she is like, "Oh my God, let's use salt for whatever." In the cult, like, "Oh, let's use rock salt to trick
Yeah.
them." I think I also might have originally described her as having like a crystal earring, and it's like, oh shit, maybe she gets another crystal or like a hairpin.
Oh, very cool.
And I was so sad that the tower fell.
Yeah.
I was not expecting the tower to
that was
fall.
such a bummer. That was first pull of the night.
It was.
I didn't feel like it was like a huge moment, so it was just like, oh, fuck.
Right. It makes me upset because it fits really well of like, oh, okay, she is doomed. This sets her on the path of going way off the deep end.
Yeah.
Or like way into maybe some Swillman truths about occult stuff or who knows. And just like being very, very altered by the experience.
Yes.
And also just a fun little teaser planning ahead. I have thought about the repercussions of Meredith being doomed in the present. And it sucks. But it's fine.
Oh no.
It's fine.
I'm so excited to find out.
It was interesting to, like, we talked about how, like, Meredith had plot armor because we have seen her in present day. And so it was interesting to really lean into the whole idea of doomed means removed from the game. It does not mean dies necessarily.
Yeah.
I think that I was viewing it as, all right, well, this innocent version of Meredith has been removed from the game.
Which is very soul crushing and also really hard to be like, I want to do these things. I know I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
I have one action that I can inspiration out of. I better make it a good one.
Yeah.
And it ended up not really mattering, but I think it led to a very dramatic moment. Can we talk about Caleb?
We can.
Jacob, we've run into a problem that I'm just now realizing in the middle of the breakfast.
Oh no.
I've forgotten Caleb because Caleb was 5 months ago and Bernie was the terrifying man that I had to meet like earlier this week.
Yeah. I remember parts of Caleb, certainly.
That's fair. That's all you need.
The homeschooling bit was really funny.
That was always a delight.
Glad that worked out. Yeah, we were talking about going to high school, and I, backstory moment, did not go to high school. I was what we call home teached.
That's what you call it?
That's what I call it now. As I move. Homeschooled, if you want plain English, all the way through, which is odd, I understand. But as we were talking about high school, I was like, I don't know anything about this. Or can't really find anything to like connect to or relate to. And kind of like Fob says, you kind of taught me how to do this, like grabbing a part of yourself and making that bigger and that being your character. I was like, I got literally nothing.
Oh, no.
So.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We
I was
figured
like,
it out.
Let's do 90s high school.
We figured it out. We got there and they created Key Club, which was a lot of fun.
That's true.
It did
true.
create Key Club.
And it also created, shall I say, some of my favorite jokes in the whole
Oh my
of
God.
Y2
Oh my God.
Spillman. Like, that was always a delight whenever, like, every time you were like, now, I'm not legally required to be here. I'm just here because I want to be, and I can leave whenever I want. Always hilarious because, frankly, I wish I could have said that in high school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You did such a good job playing a really complicated dynamic of like, my
Yeah.
best friend is being a shit. I'm going to be moody, even though it like very much was like a no but to the narrative. Christine was like, hey, do you want to come to our cabin? You're like, no, I don't actually.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that played off okay because I felt like a jerk being like, yeah, I don't think I told anything. I think I just sulk in my room like
No.
a moody teenager, but that is what I felt like would have happened.
Honestly, one of the most like gut-wrenching moments for me of the whole story was Caleb and Chet in the woods together.
Yeah.
And just like it was just like, oh, that sucks and that's hard. Great moment.
Yeah, sorry that Lorianne's luck failed you and you were doomed. Do we
Oh,
want to
yeah.
give?
It's fine.
We say Lorianne's name, but we never give her like a shout out or say who she is. Do we want to be like,
Oh, hi, Lorianne.
hi, Lorianne?
I love you. Hi.
What's up, Lorianne?
Aw, we
Aw.
love you too. Not as much as Jacob,
Yeah, I
but
love
we
her
still
more, though.
love you a lot.
I don't want to get in the middle of this love war, Lorianne, but you're delightful and I'm a
Love
big
war.
fan of yours.
But and I think we touched on Bernie a little bit. Was there anything else about Bernie or Caleb that you would like to share that didn't come out other than the deep instinct to stab a child?
I was told she could not leave, so I tried my best.
Jacob, honestly, I'm really glad that you got to play Bernie because having played an antagonistic character on like a different show and just being like, your job is to get in the protagonist's way, and it's such a fun time, and I'm so glad that you also got to have that experience.
It's very fun. I had a lot of fun. I don't want to say, I don't know. I felt bad. Not bad. But I was just like, this is great for me, but I'm sure a terrible time for everybody else, especially Christine.
It's like, if the tower falls, I'm this is a bit character. I don't care
Yeah.
if I die.
It was very freeing to be like, I'm not really in charge. I'm just kind of a puppet who gets to say some words.
And what
such great
words they
words.
were.
I mean,
Sometimes.
it was so good though, and I feel like your willingness to truly do whatever it takes to keep them there helped push that last episode into like a scary place that I would not have been able to access on my own. So you really did an excellent job with it.
Right. Thank you.
If nothing else, your bodies will be left here.
Well, and it caught me off guard, I will say, because like I wrote a second character sheet for Bernie, and how you responded to it was like Bernie's been around in the cult since the old days and has watched it get warped and twisted, and so he kind of has this like sense of the way things are now is not the way it should be. And I thought that at a certain point, like especially as the tower got scarier and scarier, I could have foreseen like a path where Bernie was like, you know what? This isn't what we're about. Go kids, escape. Like I didn't want to coach you in that direction at all, but like in my head that was like, that's clearly what's going to happen. And then it didn't happen.
Nope.
And it didn't happen. And it didn't happen. And you were like chasing them into the woods. And I was like, when does he stop? It was like the end of Baby Driver when you think he's going to die and he just keeps coming back.
It's been too long since I've seen this movie.
Oh.
This is another fun episode of Jacob and Christine did not communicate well, because I did not think any of that about Bernie or remember writing it. I remember being like, he's been around and he's a bit over the fighting stuff. Like he's kind of just wants to like make beds and bring people hot chocolate.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like he was not bought into it. Like
No, like he's definitely bought into it, but I feel like he's bought into like the old version of like the purer version, when it was about like, we're in common trust, we're in community, we're doing something good here. And as you were describing all these different people who wore the hat, like, you know, power corrupts and all that sort of thing.
I had none of those thoughts, or if I did, they've been deleted.
That's fair.
And also, you had told me for that last session I was going to have to pull if I went against the will of the cult. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm going to go hard in the paint as instructed.
I did share some secret DM notes with him.
What
did you know? What did you know?
Jacob, is
What did you
that
know?
why you liked playing Bernie so much?
It was fun to have breadcrumbs and a knife.
Yeah. Okay.
One distinction that I really was careful was that like nobody who was bought into the cult would refer to it as a cult. They would refer to it as a community.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Truly adoring Eloise Blackburn. You referred to her as the mother once, and I was like,
yes.
yes, that was not a phrase that I gave you. That was really good.
Thank you.
I also really liked that we didn't get to see a lot of Eloise this story, especially because she had such a prominent
Role in
role
the
in
last one.
Graveyard Shift.
Yeah.
Because I got the sense that like, however she may have intended the cult to begin, like that by this point she was pretty like hands off, like you guys are doing your own kind of thing. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
out here.
I've got witch shit to do.
Yeah, because like, you know, she didn't really interfere when we were fucking shit up. She really didn't
No.
interfere when they were, you know, harming children. Like she seemed pretty like removed
Yeah.
at this
Yeah,
point.
we talked a little bit about like, why was it? Why didn't Eloise jump in more? The place that I was moving from was more of like, Eloise established this community as a way to like preserve the memories that she had of her original community. This like very deep trusting thing. There's also some like socio-political shit that's happening at the same time that she would have established this community that would like lead to it being this like important thing and thing that maybe doesn't vibe with the rest of Spillman, hence some of the isolation separatist stuff. As far as why now is she not intervening, Fabrice had a really good explanation. Because she is a ghost and because the cult is so far away from Spillman in the woods that like there might be some proximity limits.
My thought was I don't think Eloise can get to the Mediterranean. So
bummer.
clearly
Her
there must
holiday.
be some sort of like she probably can't get outside of like a certain radius of like Colwood trees would be my
Interesting.
thought.
Oh,
Fascinating.
That's just my my own
Colwood
little
trees.
thought right here. It could not be real though,
That
folks.
could
We
make
haven't
sense,
made it
though.
canon.
That
I
could make sense.
I think it does make sense.
I think
I've thought about
I think that
it.
makes a lot of sense.
I've thought about this.
mayhaps we will explore this concept in another story.
Who knows? It might be
Perhaps.
the next one.
Interesting.
I'm feeling a little parched again.
God, give me something other than this soda, please.
Jacob, drop the beat. What did you bring for our degustation?
Unnamed brand limeade.
Whoa!
Key lime limeade.
I love.
Specifically.
I don't want to drink
Marissa,
the
I'll
rest
finish
of
Here,
the
yours.
soda.
pour all your
Yes.
unwanted beverage into this cup, and then I will drink of the cup.
Of the cup itself.
Sup of the cup.
Sup of
Jacob,
the
I
cup.
finished mine.
Great, here you
I
go.
am no coward.
We
oh,
cannot,
am I finishing
we
yours?
we cannot get rid of it. We must either return it to the earth or drink it ourselves. Wait a
No.
minute.
There's like key lime like pulp in there.
Yeah, there's some zest going on.
Some zest.
Hope I don't make a mess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's refreshing as hell.
That's very good.
This is fabulous. Sorry I brought a shit beverage.
That's
It's
okay.
okay.
We did it in the correct order.
And you come
Yeah.
with nectar.
I
Delicious.
brought
this
this
is
on
good.
accident. I was buying dinner, and they're like, "What do you want to drink? Limeade?" I was like, "They were like key limeade." I was like, "Actually, yeah, that one."
Now that you've said the magic word.
The keyword.
Hey.
Now that our thirst has been slaked, should we slake the thirst for lore?
Oh.
Sure.
Delicious lore.
Dear
a
listener,
lot.
you wrote in and we're answering your questions.
Not true.
Marissa wrote in, and I'm answering the
Yes,
questions.
hello.
If you want to write in, listener, you can. We might
Yes,
answer
do.
them.
Yes, we do want to
Email
do a
us.
Q&A at some point.
Yes. There was like a ton of lore this story that
Yes.
I think came out that I think it would behoove me to just do a quick little recap.
Yeah.
So spiders are cool. Spiders
Yeah.
there are two kinds of spiders. There's the magic Eloise spiders with the blue and just normal ass wolf spiders that aren't cool.
Could be the same base species.
Yes. And then something
One has magic, one does not.
something tragic occurred in the past, maybe. That was no good. And
Sorry.
No, we're keeping that.
No, we're not.
No, we aren't. That's just a Christine soundbite.
yeah, program that onto one of your buttons, Jacob.
Hang on, wait, Jacob. Ready? Pretend to hit a button. It's just like that.
I was trying to do the Tim Allen Home Improvement sound.
And you improved it.
At home. Okay, sorry, Marissa.
Oh, it's gone from my brain. Oh, spiders. Yes, and like the idea of like the whatever supernatural mumbo jumbo magic, etc. force is dependent upon intent. It can be used to form community and like trust and share collective memories, or it can be used to control but still have that like memory
Yes.
something, like with the Olivia flashback, which was not intentional. It's very cool that it's been recontextualized in that
Yes,
way.
it was intentional. I picked specific a
Yes.
long time ago, like in the summer when I was still planning. I asked you to share your notes with me, and then I plucked specific
yeah.
phrases from what you had sent me
Oh.
because I was like, what happens if we do this in reverse, where you offer a memory first and then receive something in return rather than
Ooh.
have it being snatched from you?
So cool.
Very fun.
And the trust circle was really interesting.
Can I just say I love a vision, and I'm so happy that we got to do so many of them.
Yeah.
Anytime that there's like somebody's giving a vision or a prophecy or like a remembered backstory that got forgotten, oh, that's my shit.
Christine, did you watch a lot of anime growing up?
None.
That's so wild because that's like all that is.
And we got a lot of that from Eloise, right? Like we saw like her with her family and her
Mhm.
like foraging and like a glimpse into like her past, which was really
Yes.
lovely. And the crystals are some sort of like conduit thing of
Mhm.
like red energy, red moths, whatever this red shit is.
So there's all kinds of different waves of color
Yes.
going through the crystals.
And then come into crystal, turn red then blue good.
So the colors matter, folks. Blue is good, red is bad, which is a bummer. Red's my favorite.
And yellow's just in there for fun.
Just for
Yellow's
fun.
in there for flavor.
I feel like we're at the point in the season where like we have raised a lot of questions that are slowly starting to be either recontextualized or connected or like answered. And I'm excited to see that trend continue.
Yeah.
Hope we can pull it off.
Gonna try,
Oh, wow.
God.
Is it time for a bit? Welcome back to Things Christine cut out of the podcast I wanted to share anyway.
Oh my god. There were a lot of good options that I saw in the Slack for this.
Yes. So I have quite a few options for things that we could listen to.
Let's start with the best one.
Yeah, please.
Jacob, do you want to just kind of like riff right now some stuff that like we can kind of put in the background of like as we're describing us trudging?
I am ready, and then I guess after that, Todd wore the hat for a little while, and I forget why, because of the sun or the moon or the sunset, or maybe he just liked strawberries, but we only wore red for a little while, and then Cynthia wore the hat for a little bit, and she hated red, so no more red for a little while. We burned all our clothes and made brand new ones, and they were blue and pink and green and orange and asher and grape and ruby and ochre and
Peach.
silver and orange and pink and green and blue, but just not red.
Bernie, ruby and pink are both kind of like shades of red.
Tell that to Andrew Lloyd Webber, Fabrice.
Yeah, Cynthia was wearing the hat, and she said ruby and pink were fine. And then when Cynthia was done, it was Charles. And Charles didn't care so much about color, but he liked dogs. And then we had a bunch of dogs, and then he wanted there to be more dogs. And then it got to be, a lot of dogs. So we let some of the dogs go, and I think
Let some of the
Luke went and sold.
Dingoes at the library.
Oh my god.
And then I think Luke took some of the dogs to town and sold them or something, and that was, controversial at the time. That time we didn't go to town much, but Luke came back with John, and John was pretty great, and we accepted John, so Luke thought maybe he would go out more to the town. Lawrence was in charge for a little while, and Lawrence thought, maybe that was too many people, so Luke didn't go to town as much for a little while, although he did go and buy chocolates. We did like the chocolates.
You said it so wistfully.
We did have a lot of chocolate for a while, so I didn't miss it so much when Victoria took over and said, no more chocolate. And then she just really cared about cats. But not as much as whoever it was that I said cared about dogs, but and it was a lot of cats, but that was fine. And some of the cats died, and there were less cats, but we never, got rid of the cats like we did with the dogs or the red or anything. That seems like a lot of talking.
I was just going to let you go as long as you possibly wanted to. That was amazing, Jacob.
If this is not taken out as the blooper we listen to for breakfast in 3 months, I will quit the podcast. Jacob. Well done.
That was incredible. Incroyable.
Well, thank you for this things, Christine.
Hey.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Stay tuned for at some point when we have a mega insane blooper reel because my
Oh,
goodness, I've been pulling stuff and Marissa's been compiling it.
We've been on some tears, but what is this? Is my tummy a bit growly? Do we perhaps have some key lime ice cream waiting for us in the fridge that we're not going to eat on microphone because that's disgusting? But so we must be departing. But first, who is running our next story?
Oh, wait. Before we do that, I have another bit.
Oh no! Where's Shadow? Where is she? Where is she? Jacob.
I'm so sad that I
Jacob.
forgot to bring Shadow because this is
Jacob.
a Shadow update bit.
What?
And I did want to play it off as an audio visuals and make everybody close their eyes. And
We're in our house now.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
well, I forgot.
Is
So
this about her terrible accident?
whatever it was.
Foreshadowing.
So once upon a time, my wonderful girlfriend, Lorianne, had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Lauren!
And we went to celebrate it. And she had mentioned once that the last birthday party she ever enjoyed was a murder mystery. I said, great, we're doing that. And I asked my fantastic GM friends if they could help run it. I was like, if I buy this thing on the internet, can you do whatever you do to take it from words on the page to a murder mystery thing? And they said yes. So thank you for that again.
You're very welcome.
Fob and Marissa.
Hell yeah.
They did a great job.
It was fun.
I
It was very
played the
fun.
Grunch.
It's true. It was
Oh yeah, they were
Christmas
all
themed.
classic Christmas characters with the serial numbers filed off.
Yeah.
So part of that, obviously, murder mystery party, somebody gets murdered. Marissa had the fantastic idea to murder Shadow.
Okay.
In effigy.
Let's hold on.
You got to
hold
kill
on.
your demons.
So the premise was that Ebenezer Scrooge got like stabbed with like a sprig of holly. So I stole a cute little piece of holly
Uh-huh.
from a wreath
Uh-huh.
and was like, "Oh, can I put Shadow on this little stool in front of everyone, like a full chair? Like it was there. There was space. There was
Yeah.
space. She was comfortable.
Mhm.
She was fine.
Like a lamb to the slaughter.
I asked her permission. Shadow, do you mind if I have you
Mhm.
in our murder mystery? And she didn't respond, so I thought it was fine. And then what was
That's not how that works.
what was supposed to happen was that Jacob had a cool light cue. All the lights would go off. I would put some holly on top of her, and the lights would go on and be like, "Oh no, a dead."
She did.
And then Shadow took it upon herself to do that sooner. We should update you, by the way, if you are just joining us. Shadow is my haunted doll friend that I bought on the internet to terrify Marissa.
Yes.
She's more than a
She
pet.
has a physical difference, which is that one of her legs is mostly missing, except now she has a different physical difference, which is she has no legs because she just was sitting on her thing, and then I wasn't there, but I'm told nobody murdered her. She just fell off.
No.
And her
She
other
did.
leg
She-
shattered.
She took a
truly
swan
did
dive.
just fall off.
No one was around. She
She
was at the
noped.
front of the room by the fake fireplace. She was sitting on her stool. No one moved. No one got up. No one said shit. And she just literally launched herself fully off of the stool onto the floor and shattered her own leg. I think she was trying to kill me, and I am afraid of her still. And now she just lives behind your couch with no legs.
And now she has a jagged edge
It
of a
look-
ceramic
yeah.
Yeah, the
Porcelain.
leg, the one porcelain leg was totally missing when I got her, and now the other leg is just kind of knives.
So she hasn't had like corrective surgery at all?
We collected the pieces.
Not all
Yeah,
of
where
them.
did you put them?
I gave them to you.
Oh.
Did you not burn them and bury them in the backyard?
Oh, no.
I don't think
burn
you gave them to
porcelain?
me. I think you put them in the trash.
I did no such thing.
Marissa
Well,
would
I
never
don't have
dishonor
them, so
Shadow
they were
in that way.
probably in the trash.
Oh no. I cannot explain to you though how fucking terrified I was, and I was like, I gotta have a fun birthday time for my cool friends, but I want to leave.
I want to
It
leave.
was so scary.
But don't I want to not be here?
No one was near her.
No.
And she did fall like onto the one, like she fell onto the hearth, which
Yes.
in that room is like the smallest portion where she could have gotten hurt. Like any other direction that she fell, she would have fallen onto carpet.
You know what? In retrospect, perhaps Shadow was not going after me. Perhaps she saw an opportunity to enact
Freedom.
revenge on her caretaker Jacob for doing such things as putting giant knives near her for photo shoots.
I gave her a knife for protection.
Also setting her on top of a Roomba and letting her just wander around.
DJ
That
Shadow Roomba.
Sounds like a fun ride.
That's enrichment, Marissa.
Just putting random candies that you don't want around her with like little novelty necklaces.
That's the bowl of rejected candy. That's for candy I don't want, but my friends might want. It just hangs out.
I'm usually friends who want the candy.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
a
great
fan of
bowl. Highly recommend.
I
If
like
you
that
have a
bowl.
bowl and or some candy you don't want, bowl of rejected candy. There you go. Life advice.
I like the gummy bears.
Well, and then they were road bears.
Sounds right. Which road?
Probably.
Don't remember.
That was what they called it when I put a bunch of gummy bears in my purse before I went to the bar.
Oh
Road
yes.
bears.
Great.
And then I
Well
was
done.
really excited a few drinks in when I realized I had road bears.
That's correct.
Second life advice: have candy
Have
with
candy
you.
stashed.
Candy in the
Road
bowl, candy with
bears.
you. That's all you need. Anyway, this was supposed to be a pretty quick bit, and it's been not very quick anymore. It's just a lot of personal lore about us that's come out.
Fabrice has left.
Fabrice fully just got up and went to the bathroom.
We need him for the next bit.
We'll be right back. Oh, I forgot to mention. Drop this in. I'm sorry, everybody. I failed to bring butter salad into this episode.
That's
It's okay.
okay.
I got distracted by having to be a different person.
That's
fair.
okay.
Also, Marissa wasn't DMing, so
It's just to antagonize me specifically.
no, it's
Wait, what the
because
fuck?
I enjoy it.
Oh,
but
okay.
Also, antagonizing you is a fun little, the little salt on the butter of the butter salad.
The cornerstone
Salted
of our
butter.
friendship, truly.
That's the new lore. It's salted butter.
It's salted. It must be salted butter. Okay.
We got it in.
Canon. Kaboom. So who will be running our next venture into Spillman?
Oh, it's not me.
Jacob, one of these times.
Not me.
It's not me.
Who indeed, dear listener?
Oh!
It's me.
Wow, this is brand new information to me. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I gave a one-word teaser
Mm-hmm.
and you gave me shit for it.
So, Fob, why don't you give us the opportunity to give you shit for your one-word
Absolutely.
teaser? I would love to hear
My
it.
one-word teaser, and this won't mean what you think it means, is HOA.
House of Alligators.
Yes. That's it.
That's it.
It's guys. It's,
Horde
oops, all
of
goose.
Anacondas.
Horde of Anacondas.
Horde of Anacondas.
Ah,
is pretty
Jacob,
That's
Jacob,
a
Jacob.
good metal
You're-
band.
Jacob, you might be omitting some silent letters in that HOA.
This is orcs all over again, isn't it?
This is
All
orcs
right.
all the way down. We started with an acronym that Fob wanted to make into something else, and now we're here.
Again. Well, we'll see ya in a while. Thanks for listening to our show. We love you.
Bye.
Bye, dear
We're gonna go
listener.
eat key lime pie
Goodbye.
ice cream.
I'm
Ice
so
cream,
excited.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
This episode is not sponsored by Melba's Fixins Key Lime Pie Soda.
Melba, I'm so sorry we slandered your good name.
She had other flavors too.
No.
Read the list. Read the list. Read the list.
All right. Well, there's butter soda, Havana banana, Farrah Fawcett, dirt soda, bacon soda, cucumber soda, horchata soda. Thank you for listening to Dread and Breakfast. Thank you, Eli Schneider, for composing our breakfast theme song. What a classic! You can find links to more of Eli's music in the episode notes. Check out the episode notes for links to all of our sound credits, content warnings, and other miscellaneous nonsense. Also, have you joined our Discord server? If not, you're missing out. We have such a fun time over there, chatting together, posting memes, and talking about theories and comparing our New York Times crossword times. I am very competitive and I'm sorry, but we have fun. That's the point. Come join us on Discord. The link is in the episode notes. A little personal note from me, the DM. I would like to take this time to personally thank Marissa. This story got off the rails in so many ways, and truly, we would not have been able to get it across the finish line if it wasn't for her incredible amount of work. So thank you, Marissa. Don't you dare cut this out, because the world, again, I think Jacob has said this exact thing, but the world needs to know your greatness and how much you do to keep our show going. So if you enjoy our show, give a big hearty hurrah for Marissa. Hurrah! Oh, good job. Our next story's in the works. It's insane. Everyone's unhinged, but in like a new flavor. I don't know. It's in the works. It's great. Stay tuned. We will see you on social media. We will see you on Discord. Thank you so much for listening. Tell a friend about our show. It is the best way to help us grow. And we will see you all dreadfully soon. There's grass soda, enchilada soda, mustard soda, boysenberry soda. That actually sounds pretty good. Sweet corn soda, black olive soda,